finally time to see if the legend is true. It's finally time to see if the Sky Island actually exists. And by the way, I love the way that this episode was sort of framed and played out. The Straw Hats heading towards the sky via the upstream while We Are is playing gave me goosebumps. I thought that was so good. Them heading towards the middle of that whirlpool while Blackbeard was approaching them pretty much. And they see that sea monster get swallowed up by it, and you just don't know if any second they're going to get capsized or eaten or like their boat's going to collapse or something like that. But somehow they managed to get to the middle of it and get in that upstream. And I can't wait to see if this legend of the Sky Island that we've been talking about for a little while now actually exists. And I can't wait to see what it looks like. It's just really exciting, man. And like I said, I just love the way this episode was sort of presented. It was a very slow burn episode. Like, you just don't know exactly what's going to happen. The whole episode was building up to that upstream kicking in, them going into that whirlpool. And once it finally did hit, it was great. It always cracks me up seeing each individual reaction to these sort of moments in the Straw Hats, because Usopp and Chopper always have a pretty similar reaction. They're always scared shitless, as well as Nami. They're always like, oh no, this is terrifying. Luffy's always absolutely loving life, and it always pisses Nami off, which makes me laugh. Zoro's just chilling. He couldn't care less. Same with Sanji. Sanji's usually cool as well. I don't think really got to see a lot of Robin, but she's probably pretty similar to Luffy. She's calm as anything. But I love seeing their individual reactions to these different events. I think that's really fun. I mean, I like the individual character moments we see of each Straw Hat pirate. It just endears me to them a lot more, because I genuinely love every member of the Straw Hat Pirates. There's not a single member I don't really adore. And Robin is somebody, out of everyone right now, she's probably the one I'm most interested in, because we know the least about her. So I'm excited to learn more about her as a character and like her sort of reaction to things and how she interacts with the world and what exactly she's all about. But like I said, just seeing everybody's individual interaction to this upstream and the whirlpool and everything like that, I thought was very fun. But I am skipping a little bit ahead of myself. There was something I thought was quite interesting, and that was the Blackbeard pirates. Their ship was really makeshift. It was almost like a pirate crew that was just on the uprising, if that makes sense. Like, they don't even have a proper ship. They made their ship out of it looks like tree logs or something like that. They just sort of stitched them all together, and that's what their ship is. And to me, Blackbeard as a character right now seems like he's notorious, but he seems like one that's on the uprise. You know what I mean? He's heading towards becoming one of the 7 warlords of the sea. That seems to be his goal, and to collect massive bounties. But he's not as notorious as somebody like a Crocodile or like a Whitebeard, of course, or like Doflamingo, one of the 7 warlords. But he seems like somebody that's up and coming and could be a massive threat in the future. But I think that's really exciting as well. To me, Blackbeard seems like a character that's going to become a massive threat in the future. Him being notorious and his potential danger is only going to rise as the series progresses. He's only going to become more of a threat as the series continues on, and I'm interested to see what sort of path his character takes, after what he did in Drum Island and him being notorious and him hunting for giant bounties. I think there's a lot of potential for sort of growth in his character and, his notorious level, I guess you could say. I think he's somebody that's really going to grow into a big threat to the Straw Hats and potentially the world in the future. That's just my assumption. Another subtle moment I enjoyed in this episode was when Luffy returned the gold to Cricket, and Cricket didn't say thank you, but you could tell Luffy just doesn't care, if that makes sense. Like, Luffy obviously doesn't do these things for praise or thank yous or anything like that. He does what he thinks is right, and he tries to do right by his friends or people that he deem as his friends. So he never does these things for like a thank you or applause or anything like that. He's literally just doing things that he thinks is right, and he's trying to do right by people he cares about. And I think that's very indicative of him as a character, and I thought that was really nice. Eventually, Cricket did say thank you as they were leaving, sort of quietly, but I think that's his pride talking. Maybe he didn't want to say it outwardly too loud. I'm not too sure, but I just thought that was a really nice moment. But yeah, this episode was a really great setup for the Sky Island. I can't wait to see what's on the other side of these clouds, and yeah, let's keep it going.